Howdy folks, Singing Toad here, and I hope you're having a fantastic day, and thank you very much for watching my channel. So today I thought I would talk about my brand new car, which is, I'm going to back the camera out here because I'm in super close, a 2024 Subaru Impreza RS, and this color is the Oasis Blue. Now, for anyone jumping into this video for the first time and doesn't know my channel, you're new to my channel, I'm not a car reviewer. This is not an official car review. If you want to watch a proper car review, I welcome you to go to other car channels that have reviewed this car and done a much better job, because that's not what this video is here. I'm just going to talk a little bit about my new car, what I like about it, things like that. This isn't a proper review. Sorry to disappoint. Okay. You're watching the Singing Toad YouTube channel. Okay, for those of you who've already clicked off by now, let's continue onward. And thank you for those of you who've made it past this point. So, coming down the side here, we have an RS badge. And what's really cool about this is it's got the pistons, which are horizontally opposed, because this has a flat 4 boxer styled engine. That's a really cool touch. And if we come around to the back, oh yeah, just to show the wheels real quick, they have these kind of blacked out rims. It does have discs all the way around, and from what I understand, a lot of the suspension components, or at least some of the suspension and brakes and stuff like that, are out of the WRX. The steering components, things like that, I don't exactly know how much of that is true, but there are some parts of the WRX that are in the RS. And then on the back side, we have another RS badge under the Impreza logo, of course the Subaru logo, Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive, and this is what the backside looks like. And I'm just going to quickly open it up here. And had I been thinking things through, I would have took all this junk out of there to show you just how big the rear section actually is. But you can see, got a bunch of grocery bags in here, a big tote. I got my get home bag or emergency bag. I don't really like to call it a bug out bag because I think that's silly. I don't believe in the whole bugging out thing, but it's just my emergency bag, adventure bag. Got a bunch of different supplies and things in there. I also have a bunch of car related stuff down in here, extra clothes, things like that, winter stuff. But that's what's in there. I got an extra pair of shoes. By the way, I have a complete full change of clothes in here, including shoes. So being an outdoorsman, if I slipped and fell in the river, you know, as long as I can make it back to my car, I can change out, including my shoes, socks, underwear, pants, shirt, even jackets. I have a complete 100% full change of clothes in here. It does have a feature little trunk light. Has this cover, and unfortunately I can't lift it with this stuff on there, but there is a little cubby hole down here, and there is one of those tire inflator kit things. It does not come with a spare tire, which this is the first Subaru that I've ever owned that does not come with a spare tire. I think it is kind of cool. It's got this little graphic in here with the little Subaru here in the mountains. That's kind of a neat touch. Does not have a power gate, so you do have to use your hands. It is Armstrong powered. Cool taillights, I like the design of that. Coming around to this side here, it does have this touch sensitive thing where you can lock and unlock the doors that way. And then we'll come back around to the front side, and for some reason I'm super zoomed in, but we're gonna go ahead and hop in now. And yes, there's junk in the car. Why? Because it's my car and I've lived in it. I've had this car for about 2-3 weeks now, so I've already had quite a bit of use with it. So yes, I apologize for the mess. This isn't, like I said, I'm not a proper car reviewer. You want to watch a proper car reviewer, go hit up Doug DeMiro or Throttle House. Those guys will do a much better job. So if we come in here, and I need to zoom this thing way out. All right, that's better. So it's got a leather wrapped steering wheel. It has a whole whack of buttons here on this side, which I had a 2021 WRX before this one, and I'll talk about that momentarily. But a lot of these buttons they've moved some things around here, so it did take me a little bit of getting used to where they relocated things, because like the up and down button, which I think selects your tracks now, used to be the volume controls. So that's kind of new to me. And then over on this side, a big difference to me is the eyesight camera controls, which are those up there. So there's one here, and there's one right in the very front. That is a dash camera. Please ignore that. But these are the eyesight controls, and that is definitely something new to me and I've been playing around with. This one does only come with an automatic CVT transmission. That's one of my complaints about this car. There's no manual transmission option. I've been driving stick for decades now. Every Subaru I've had, with the exception of one, I've had one of the Subaru that was automatic and I absolutely hated it. But all those Subarus I've owned have been stick shifts, including my 2021 WRX. So this being an automatic is a little bit of a disappointment, and they don't offer a manual. If they did, I would get it. So that's my one complaint about this car. And the second complaint is the styling. Although I don't think it's ugly, I just wish that there was more differentiation. Is that a word? Differences. I'm going to go. I just wish there was more distinguishing features. That's the word I'm trying to talk. That's the word I want. Distinguishing features between the RS and the regular Impreza. You know, if you put these two cars side by side, a regular Impreza and an RS, to the untrained eye, people are just gonna be like, it's the same car. I just wish there was more body styling and something that just maybe give it dual exhaust or something, just something to make it stand out so it doesn't just look like all the rest of the Imprezas. Slapping RS badges on it, you know, that's a little thing. But, oh, speaking of RS badge, there is one in the dash. Let me just start it up real quick. I'm going to close this door and start it up. Foot on the brake. Press the old start button, which is hiding back in there. And let me turn the radio off before I get copyright strike. But if I can come in here, there is a cool little RS badge right there. And there's a whole whack of different things you can do with this button here. You can move some stuff around in here. There actually is quite a bit of customizability in here. Like you can go into settings. I was able to change this button and some other buttons in here to change this up here. If I go to the home screen, you do have different icons here that you can go into. It's when you first start the car up, it's a little slow, which is kind of annoying. So if I'm, you know, if I click on something when I first start the car up, it's like it knows I touched it, but it doesn't respond to it right away. It takes like I've seen it take up to like 10 seconds before it finally went, oh, you wanted to go to your radio now, for example. Also, the auto start stop. This is a highly annoying feature. You can turn it off, right? Problem is, it comes right back on every time you turn the car off. So when you start the car back up again, it's coming back on again. And even if you go into the settings, so I just click on that button, auto start stop, you'll see it's off. It just comes right back on again, which to me is really, really stupid. Subaru, fix that. That is a super annoying feature. Either get rid of it or just fix it. You know, make it so that if I turn it off, it stays off until I want it back on. That's how it should work, not the other way around. But that's a minor little complaint. But that's partial due to the automatic transmission. If it had a stick shift, it wouldn't even have auto start stop. But they don't have a stick shift in this. So as you can see, the interior is fairly Spartan. It's got the two-tone red and black and gray, well, I guess three-tone seats, and you know, crap on it. Again, folks, this car is lived in. It does have the Harman Kardon upgraded speaker system, which is nice. It does have wireless charging. It has an electronic parking brake. That's new to me as well. All the other cars I've ever owned have had the old hand brake. So that's a little bit different. So I guess there's no e-brake turnarounds in this car. Heated seats. Climate controls, by the way, it does have tactile buttons, and it is dual climate control. So, you know, your spouse or whoever's sitting over here can adjust their side. I currently have it synchronized, but if we just go here, you just tap that, and that'll bring up the climate controls, and you can adjust all this stuff here and whatnot, and you just press the X and it goes away. But, you know, on the fly, you can just quickly adjust your temperature up or down without having to go into that menu. You can also put the main defroster on and the rear defroster, which, by the way, the rear defroster will turn on the heated mirrors and it will turn on the heated window wipers, windshield wipers, which is a very, very cool feature. And you can also adjust how long they stay on for. So you can go into the settings, and there's a whole whack of stuff you can adjust in here. As you can see, there's a bit of a delay there. It's not super fast, but there's all kinds of stuff that you can adjust in here and play around with, which is kind of cool. So, you know, this car's got some neat features, but it's also kind of basic too. And what else did I want to say? Oh yeah, you got a tachometer, which I like the fact that it's got a tachometer that stays there, that doesn't go away, and a speedometer, which again stays there, doesn't go away. Those are two fixed things. The only part that moves around is the digital display in the center, and by pressing this button here, I believe, yeah, there we go. That one will change to different things, so you can adjust, you know, where what you want in there, and I think you can actually adjust in the settings what you want. Oh, another feature is the heated steering wheel, right down in there. So in the winter time here in Canada, it gets cold, turn on the heating steering wheel. I've already tested that out. It gets really warm real fast. Now the problem is it only works from here to here. So it's just here, you know, holding your hands in this area. It does not work all the way around. So that's okay. It is what it is. Also, if you put the car down into manual mode, so let me just put my foot on the brake. Oh, by the way, if I go into reverse, it does bring up a backup camera. It's a very basic backup camera. It doesn't have many features, but it does work. Then if we come down into drive mode, and if I move this over, the car is now in manual mode, and you'll see it's now showing the number 1. And I can use these paddle shifters. There's a plus for going up and a minus for going down. And it simulates an 8-speed manual gearbox. I'm just gonna put that back in a park before I forget and wind up rolling forward. But the thing is, it's not super responsive. I was playing around with it the other day, and you know, you click up, click down, and if you're not where it wants you to be, it won't change gears, or it'll change gears slowly. Which is, I mean, I get it. They're trying to idiot-proof it so someone who's never driven a manual before doesn't just get in the car and blow the transmission up. You know, if you've never driven a stick shift and you don't understand how gearing works and you just start slapping through gears, you know, if it changed exactly when you told it to change, you'd either stall the engine out or you would blow your transmission up. So it's good that, you know, there is a safety there. But for me, who's driven stick all my life, and when I shift the gear, if I make a mistake, I want the car to tell me I've made a mistake. But this thing won't allow you. So it's kind of, these paddle shifters are like a toy. It's like an arcade. You want to play Gran Turismo while driving around in your Subaru Impreza RS, knock yourself out. But to me, I don't use them because they've got a real spongy feel to them. And also they're mounted on the actual steering wheel. So if you see I turn the wheel and they move with the wheel, in real cars that have real like sequential shifting gearboxes, they're actually mounted on the column and they're much larger and they don't move. So that way when you're in a corner, you always know where rate, you know, up and down is to gear up and gear down. Where these, when you turn the wheel around, now you can get confused and click the wrong one. And again, that's probably why Subaru has that safety feature in there. So you can't do anything stupid to hurt the car. The car won't let you do it. So there's good and bad. Oh, also the intelligent drive and the S drive. So basically intelligent drive, which is what it currently is in, and I don't know if I can come in here and just show you beside where it says P for park, if I press the S button, so you hear a tone, plus it shows you a different curve, and now it says S. So now the car is in S drive or kind of sport mode. It changes the throttle mapping. It doesn't seem to increase the power at all because the power is the same all the way around, which I'll talk about the power momentarily here, but it just changes how the car behaves. It's just a little bit more punchy. You get a little more acceleration. It holds the RPMs a little longer. Speaking of which, being a CVT, it doesn't actually have real gears. It just has, I'm gonna put that back to I. It doesn't have real gears, but it simulates gears. So it simulates like it's shifting gears. Again, it's kind of weird, but it's just the way it is. So at this point in time, what we're going to do is we're going to go talk about the engine. All right, so under the hood, we have a 2.5 liter flat 4 boxer engine, putting out 182 horsepower, and I forget what the torque figure is, but I'll put that on the screen somewhere. You have your air box here, brings the air in the top. We've got your manifold here. The engine sits down nice and low. You know, your pulleys and everything are there. Really cool that the oil filter is right on top. Makes it very easy for changing out the oil. You're not trying to, I've worked on some cars where you have to take the front tire off to get the oil filter out. So I like that design. Everything you need is marked in yellow. It's all right here, easy to get at. Battery. It does have a rod. This one has a super light hood. So they just put a rod in it. They didn't use rams, which the WRX had. So that's the engine there, and we're just going to go back inside the car now. Bear with me, folks. All right, so what I thought I'd do now is just show the back seat. So you do get the same seat material in the back here. Again, it's very Spartan, but at least, you know, there's some cars out there where, you know, the back seat material is not the same as the front seat material. Yeah, there's dirt and crap in here because my kids are in here. I have a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old, and, you know, they are messy and they make mess. Come down here, we have cup holders that fold out, little armrest. It does have charging ports in the back. There is a single pocket. There's not one over here. Subaru, put a second pocket in, thank you very much. But it is very spacious back here. Oh, it does feature a sunroof. I think I forgot to mention that. You do have this little hook thing right here, and there's a seatbelt in the back that comes through and it mounts in down there and under my clinic's box. And you know, you can have you know, 3 people across here, and it is quite roomy in here, surprisingly. Bear with me 1 second, folks. All right, so I thought I'd just quickly show. It does have a sunroof, and the sunroof controls are right here. You can tilt it up if you want, and of course you can open it, and it opens, and it automatically goes back when you hold it for a second, and you can actually open it just a touch further, and then if you hold it for a second, it will close all the way up for you. But let's just go ahead and close that. And it does have some lights here. There is an SOS button and an intelligent button here. These are for some services that Subaru provides. I'm not really going to talk about that right now. And there's a rear light, dome light, whatever you want to call that. Just has a regular mirror. I believe there's an upgrade you can get that has a auto dimming mirror. This one doesn't. There's a little switch I got to press under here in order to dim it. Anyway, yeah, it does have these little thingies here, and there is a little vanity light that comes on, and both sides have it, which is really, really cool. So what else did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, it has a glove box right down in there, and of course a bunch of crap down in there, and it does have a huge storage compartment down in here. I mean, my goodness, it just goes on and on down there. Has a little cubby down here, an AC power point, which of course I've got my camera in. Now, I know someone's gonna be like, oh man, why didn't you wire that up through the thing? Well, it's because this is a lease and I don't feel like taking everything apart and potentially breaking something and having to pay for that. So at the end of 2 years, when I bring this thing back in, I can deal with this, you know. For now, I just do have it just kind of stuck on here with just some little clips that are just little sticky things that just peel off, like peeling sticks, and they just come right off, no problem. A little bit of rubbing alcohol, get rid of it. Yeah, it's a little bit annoying having that cord dangling down, but it's really not in the way. It doesn't interfere with the glove box. It doesn't interfere with passengers getting in and out of my car. My wife doesn't bang into it, so it's not a big deal. Yeah, what would be really cool is, you know, Subaru, you've got 3 cameras up here. Why don't you just make one of them into a dash cam and offer that? And in here, you know, you can have dash cam controls. Then you wouldn't even have to have this stupid thing like this. That's an idea for you, Subaru. So anyway, last thing I want to talk about, and I'm just going to turn the camera around here. Yeah, last thing I want to talk about is why I went from a WRX to an Impreza RS. It was a hard decision, folks. I like speed, I like quickness, I like fun. The Subaru RS is a lot of none of that. I'm not saying this car's slow. It's not slow. I mean, there's people making fun of saying the RS stands for really slow. It isn't. But, you know, from a WRX to the RS, there's a noticeable difference in power. I'm not going to lie to you on that one. But the big noticeable difference for me was fuel economy. The WRX was a lot more thirsty on fuel, and it required 91 octane. This one runs on regular gas. And to me, that's a huge difference at the pump, and it adds up over the course of a year. Also, my driving habits. Because of the driving I was doing, the fuel costs just didn't warrant it. So this is a better family car. It's more practical. It's still fairly quick. It's got lots of power. I can pass you with confidence. I don't think this car needs any more power. The 182 horsepower is plenty for what this car is. You know, would it be nice if it had a little bit more, if they had done the BRZ tuning on the engine and given it 230? Yeah, but you know what? Subaru does not want this car to compete with the WRX, and I understand that. You know, people complain, oh, why didn't they just put a WRX engine in this? Then it would be a WRX with a hatchback, and then no one would buy the WRX. Subaru doesn't want to compete within themselves. Other brands have done it in the past, and it always proves bad. All right, it always fails. So keeping this thing in the power that it's in is all it needs. It doesn't need any more. Okay, and I agree with him on that one. Like I said, I would like to see a manual gearbox. That would make this car so much more fun. And I'd also like to see some styling done just to make the car more distinguished from the standard Impreza. Slapping some RS badges on it isn't enough in my opinion. And yeah, there's a few little tiny trim pieces here and there for the eagle eye will catch that are different, but for the most part, the two cars look identical. Okay, the regular Impreza and the RS. So that's my only real two complaints. And I guess the auto start stop, they need to fix that as well. So I guess 3, total of 3 altogether. But yeah, the fuel economy was the big one, and also the monthly payment. What I was paying on the WRX versus paying for this, dramatically different in price. So for me, it came down to a thing of money. You know, I need to save some money, and so unfortunately I had to go to a lesser expensive car. I know you could say, oh well, you could just cut expenses other places, but you know what? The other thing about the WRX that I didn't like was the rough ride. You felt every bump in the road in that car. I tell you what, you could put a dime on the road, I could drive over, tell you it was heads or tails. This car, suspension, I didn't even talk about that. The suspension in this car, very nice. This thing just soaks up bumps like nobody's business. I can drive down the most potholey road in my town, and where I live, there's a lot of potholey roads, and it's like I'm just coasting along on a cloud. You know, I think I'm in a Rolls Royce or something, you know, by comparison to the WRX. I'm not saying... Don't put words in my mouth, folks. I'm not saying the RS is a Rolls Royce. I'm just saying by comparison, the difference in feel is how it feels. So anyway, folks, that's my humble opinion and review of my 2024 Subaru Impreza RS and why I decided to make the change. And I can say right now, despite the things I don't like about the car, I love this car and I'm very happy with it. All right, take care, my friends. This is Singing Toad signing out.